Hello, hello, Weather Extra. Done a little differently now. We don't stream on Facebook, the Weather Extra, so I can't really talk with you all. Those of you who I've talked to on Facebook many times, I don't have that luxury anymore. But I do see some people, it looks like on the YouTube page, and somebody said we had hail last night. How long till you come on? I'm on right now. I'm sorry, Shane. I can't. It's another thing about YouTube. I can't really tell the names of you all. It says Shane Brazelton, I think. So Shane is what I'm going to call you. It says, let me know when you come on. I'm here. And I'm going to talk a little Weather Extra, talk about the forecast for today. We did have some hail last night. We had 2 rounds of storms, and we had a 48 first alert weather day for the first half of the storms. And then the second half of the storms, probably what we could say overperformed. Checked a lot of the pictures out of some of the hail that was falling, and they usually go ahead and issue a severe thunderstorm warning for hail that's 1 inch diameter. And we had that. That was the reason why we had warnings last night. It wasn't so much because of any kind of wind or any kind of tornadoes. And the only criteria for severe thunderstorm warnings, like if you get a warning and it's issued and it goes to your phone, it's only hail, wind, and tornadoes. Lightning, thunder, heavy rain are not part of a severe thunderstorm warning. And so many people think because they have so much lightning that that's a severe storm. Lightning can be very dangerous, but it's not criteria for a severe storm. In fact, many of the pictures that we received from viewers like you that we appreciate so much, there were very few hail pictures that looked like they were 1 inch diameter. They looked like more like pea-size hail. But if you get a lot of pea-size hail at one time, it accumulates. And it can be pretty impressive. It's like 3 inches deep on your back deck, right? When I worked in Cheyenne, Wyoming, it's the hail capital of the United States. I'm not kidding you. What happens is you get these big towering thunderstorms, and the freezing level in Cheyenne is really low. What I mean by that is you're so highly elevated that the storm peak, when it grows into the atmosphere, doesn't have to hit much more in the upper atmosphere to get to that freezing level. So you get a lot of hail. And sometimes you get hail that the snowplows would have to come out in July and plow the roads. And that was pretty serious stuff. And you'd also get larger hail, hail that could be golf ball size. I've told this story many times. I was live one time covering a storm, and I got hit with a 70-mile-an-hour wind gust of golf ball size hail in my head. And I was bleeding on air and didn't know it. And I had to get like seven stitches in my head right over here. I got a scar and everything. And I was coaching a Little League team, and I went back the next week or the next day to coach the Little League team. And apparently when I got hit by the hail, I said something very bad on air. And they were all making fun of me because it hurt. And so that's extreme. And a lot of times here in Alabama, we don't get a severe thunderstorm warning for just hail. Okay, it's usually some wind or obviously a tornado or something like that. And that obviously usually becomes a tornado warning. But we did get a post on our Facebook page, and I found this very interesting, was we had no reports of really strong winds last night. We had a lot of hail reports, of course. And I joked around this morning. I said, what the hail is going on? Hail, because I had a viewer tell me I shouldn't say that word on air. But didn't get really reports of any wind. Now, we had someone post on our Facebook page saying that she had like roof torn off and crazy weather in Zip City. And I asked one of our web producers to reach back out to her for pictures, because if that's the case, that needs to be sent to the National Weather Service to maybe have something else surveyed there or something, because I think this was more of just a big hail event last night. And heavy rain, too. Very heavy rain. There was some flooding, too. So we got past those 2 rounds of storms. The second one probably playing out a bit more than we expected. But once the storms moved out, this is what you have now in the shoals. And it's absolutely splendid right now. Temperatures are warming up quickly. We expected that. Some areas were in the 30s this morning. And you expect after a day of thunderstorms, a lot of people are like, oh, cold air always follows the storms. Just take that out of your mind right now, because that's not happening. The temperatures behind the rainfall are quite toasty. And with all the sunshine that we have, I said that there was a really good chance we'd be at 60 at noon. And if we weren't, I'd be very embarrassed of my forecast. but we're already at 60 and it's not even 11 o'clock in the morning already. So temperatures are skyrocketing fast. We had a little fog for Lincoln County this morning. I imagine that has burned off at this point because the sunshine warming temperatures up. And that's what you got for the rest of the afternoon. If you don't hit 70, you'll come really close. And if you don't hit 70 today, you get to try again for the weekend because Saturday and Sunday will probably be 70 degrees and maybe even mid-70s. So after a warm day and sunny day today, we'll be clear and cool tonight, drop you back in the low 40s. And then on Saturday, we kick off the weekend in grand style with temperatures in the low to mid-70s. We do it with a lot of sunshine. And when you get to the end of February and the beginning of March can come in like a lion, remember, you usually have these warm days and they're usually accompanied by some gusty winds, right? Strong southwest wind will like pump in that milder air. That is just simply not the case as we go into today or tomorrow. We are warming up with very little wind. So therefore, a very light wind of under 5 miles per hour to go along with sunshine and warm temperatures for your Saturday. I call that the trifecta of perfect. If you're into 70s and sunshine for the last day of February. Now, some of you aren't. You want the cold air. I get it. You know, everybody, you do you, boo. But yeah, good stuff. Sunday, a little more cloud cover late in the day, but mid-70s. Looks good. You see a 20% for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We could probably take the Tuesday and Wednesday out. There's going to be a big frontal boundary off to our west, and it's going to be really close. And I think if we're going to get any showers during that time frame, would be Monday and then again Thursday. But most of that time frame, even though you see 20% each day, is going to be dry. And there'll probably be more sunshine than clouds. And so if you can go 71, 73, 76, 76 that you see there and keep it dry and keep sunshine in the forecast, that is a stretch of about 7 days that could be unbelievable. It'll be really nice. But it could be really cool. Not cool temperature. It could be really cool weather, of course. Sean, before I go on the 10-day, we had marble-sized hail, but it piled up and sent a photo. That we appreciate your photos. We had a lot of hail. So I was telling Tatiana, who sets up the Weather Extra here, she was like, the one thing about thunderstorms is you can't grab lightning. You can't grab thunder. You can't grab heavy rain. You can put it in your hand and it looks like water, right? You can't grab wind. But the one thing you can grab in a thunderstorm to show pictures of is hail. It's like a tangible item. You can pick it up, you can look at it, so you get the whole bunch of hail in hand pictures, is what I call it, or hail on the deck pictures. And we get a ton of those because it's tangible. You can see it. It's like ice, right? Also, another little tidbit about hail, which I thought was cool. With the little tiny ones we had here yesterday, a little bit harder to do this, but you get a bigger one. You got to take a saw and do it. But you can actually cut the middle of the hailstone in half. You peel it apart, right? And hail essentially is getting thrown inside the thunderstorm, up and down, up the draft, down the draft, up the draft, down the draft. Keeps going back and forth, right? And eventually becomes too heavy and falls to the ground. What's really cool is if you take a piece of hail and you get it when it's still frozen and not after it's melted a bit, and cut the inside or somehow get through it where you can see it, there's these little rings inside the hail. It's really hard to do with like marble or pea-size hail. But if you have a bigger hailstone, you can cut it and you can see distinctive rings. And that will tell you how many times that the hail has gone up and down the draft of the thunderstorm. Pretty cool, actually. I think on record, I want to say the biggest hailstone was in Nebraska, and it was like 6 inches. It was crazy huge, like bigger than a softball. And they cut it open, and you can actually see the rings. It's almost perfect. And there's pages somewhere on the web. You can look it up. Biggest hailstone ever. You'll find it. So, all right. I do digress. Back to the 10-day forecast. Your highest chance of rain in that 10-day forecast will likely come Friday, and it looks like that rainfall now is going to linger into next weekend. I had high hopes for next weekend. The one thing we have to keep an eye on, even though it's 6-7 days out, is the threat for maybe some stronger storms Friday and Saturday, possibly Saturday night into Sunday. It depends on exactly the timing of the front, and I don't know that yet, but I do know there's a chance of something happening that we'll have to keep an eye on. Another thing that's going to happen next weekend, too, is daylight saving time is going to begin, which means your clocks will spring forward 1 hour, and your sunset will be 1 hour later in the day. And a constant reminder, you don't increase the daylight hours. You don't increase the time in the day. You just shift the daylight. So your sunrise will be much later, but so will your sunset. And that's the part that everybody gets really giddy about, because your sunset times get closer to 7 p.m. and it makes the days feel longer for those of you who sleep in during the day and you enjoy your sunshine through the evening. Even though there might not be a lot of sun on that Sunday, it will still be brighter until the evening hours, which is pretty cool. No cold air there. Sometimes you go into March, march in like a lion, out like a lamb. Bah! Not like that at all. In fact, pretty quiet forecast. You just got to keep an eye out for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If we get some strong storms there, then it won't be quite so quiet. But certainly the first 5 days will be just fine, Sunday through Thursday, because there's no severe weather and it looks warm and doesn't look all that rainy, so it looks pretty good. All right. So I can see some comments on YouTube, which is cool. I'm good with that. But those of you who I put a post on my page and said, if you're looking for this on Facebook today, you got to, and I gave you the options of where you can look at it and stuff. You like that? Shane, do you like that lamb impersonation I do? I've done it for years. Back in my first 20 years ago, I did the bah on air. Yeah. And it worked. I stuck with it. But I told everybody on the Facebook, so if you want to watch the weather extras, and we appreciate that, you have to, there's certain ways you can do it. I listed it on my page. We still will be streaming, if I understand this correctly, for severe weather, ways to keep people safe. Obviously, streaming is important, so even Facebook will be used for that. But for typical weather extras or stuff like that, we'll no longer will be doing that on Facebook, okay? So everybody have a good day and enjoy the wonderful weather. If you have outdoor plans this weekend, looks good. I have some things I got to do Saturday, but I think I might try to get some stuff done in the garden on Sunday. I'm not digging anything up or anything like that. I'm just going to put a little barrier around the outside of my garden, which I'm excited about because I moved to a new home and I can't wait to try some new things. And I hope you all have a chance to enjoy at least some time outside from now till Sunday. And if you can't do it those 3 days, you probably have time Monday through Thursday if you can make it work. I know a lot of people are very busy with their work schedule, but try to find some time to smell the roses, enjoy some great weather. Have a good day, everybody.